My Love of Life Energy is a podcast created by Anna Scott. Anna knows that every human being sees life uniquely. In this podcast, she will talk to people and learn from them. These conversations are to shine the brilliance of each human being she speaks to. Join her. After each exploration, you will expand on your insights and see truth and beauty.
Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to my podcast, My Love of Life Energy. And today I'm kicking off a series with the authors in the Muse book. The Muse book. And my first author that I have is Jacqueline Hollows, or otherwise known as JB Hollows. And welcome. I am so thrilled and honored to be speaking with you today.
Oh, thank you, Anna. What a lovely, lovely, lovely way to be introduced into the evening, because it's evening here for me.
I just, prior to, we've been on this journey together, and I don't know you, I don't, but I went onto your website and I looked at all the writing that you do, and then I looked at your running that you do with your son, I think.
Yes.
And I was so fascinated about it. So this writing of this book and being a part of this book is why we're here together. So I get to know you and we get to share it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So I'm really curious. You're an author, and how did you start writing?
So I actually thought I wasn't very good at writing. That I was better at audio, so I used to do, there was a thing called Periscope, and I used to do little audio blogs on this Periscope platform, because I thought I couldn't blog. When I started, I prior to COVID, I did a lot of work in prisons, and when I started doing that work, I kept reams of notes. Because the technology in prison isn't very good. So I was keeping reams of notes of reflections and, what I was seeing in prison and the whole journey. And at some point in about 2018, maybe, I thought people know me and they know of that work that I do. And they kept saying, are you going to write a book? Are you going to write a book? I was like, oh, no, I could never write a book. And at some point I thought, well, I have all these notes, and I'd started doing blogs, and I have all these blogs, and maybe I've got a book. And they were just a load of jumbled old notes in loads of boxes. And a friend of mine who's an author, who's been encouraging me for years to write a book, came to visit me, and she said, we're having a writer's retreat. And it was actually on a barge around the corner from where I lived at the time. Join us. And my husband said, amazing, now you'll get to write your book. And I said, I don't really want to go and spend a week on a barge with some people I don't know. No, it's not my thing at all. But I started wondering, are there other ways of doing writer retreats or getting this book off the road? And so I looked around, and of course, once you start looking for something, things occur, and things popped into my inbox and so on. And a good friend of mine who, she knew about this lady called Jules Swales, and she said, I know this girl, she's doing a writing course. I think that you'll love it. It starts, in January, and I think that was January 19. And, wow. Get yourself on it. And I thought, oh, the timing's not right. I don't really want to. And then I heard about Jules Swales from someone else. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then I'm sure Jules won't mind me saying this because it's common knowledge, but I heard that she'd seen me speaking at a conference about my work in prison, and that she'd been very moved. So I thought, this this is looking really good, because this woman knows the work I do. She knows the paradigm that I'm using in my work, and maybe there's a good fit here. And then the third and final thing was, Jules herself got in touch and said, you may not know this, but my ex-husband went to prison, and I did this thing, this YouTube thing that she said. Anyway, that was it. Obviously all the signs are pointing there. So I started doing Jules's, I think it was her very first, or if not her second class. And she came to visit me in the summer of that year, and I showed her all my notes. And I soon became aware that those notes weren't a book. They were just notes.
Oops.
But she loved the story of the journey. She referred to the hero's journey and so on. And so I started writing in earnest a book about my experiences in the prison system, which is due out later this year.
Oh my God.
Because I finally now finishing that book. But the journey that I went on with Jules and Jules's writing classes and so on is what's brought me here today, speaking with you about stories from the Muses.
And I'm so curious, how did the book is about muses, so we should talk about what muses are. How do you see the muses?
So I am probably the least qualified
No, I am.
in the group to talk about that. And I will answer that question, but I don't know if you know this. The seed of this book started because back in the summer 2020, Jules did a refresher class, and there was 8 of us, I think, on that refresher class. And it was a 5-week class, and every week, as you know, you turn up and you read a piece of your work during that week. And every week I thought, these writers are amazing. The writing was stunning. And every single person, including me, didn't think they were that good. So I was really, really intrigued by that dichotomy of not thinking you're very good and yet pouring out this amazing creative genius. When it came to the end of that class, I said, we should publish a book of a collection of the last 5 weeks. And 6 of those people, including me, ended up writing a different story, which was the prequel to our book, The Stories from the Muses. And that's how Maria started IW Press, because she said, well, I'll help self-publish it. And then actually she realized, rather than self-publish it, why don't I start a press? So I just had this mad idea, why don't we write a book together? And then, we wrote a book, and Maria started a press. And now, after the first book was published, Jules said, I've always wanted to write a compilation of Muse stories. So, will you join me? So we've ended up here. So that I think that's just such an interesting journey for the book and where the book is now. And the Muses, God bless the Muses. I struggled with it, and I would actually do this class again, because I really want to sort of nail them. But what it means, what it really showed me is how you can write from different energies. I'd been in practice with method writing with Jules Swale, so I'd I discovered things like finding your own voice and writing with nothing on your mind, and seeing this sort of creative genius come through you and not and be completely bemused by what was on the paper. But the muses were different because they were like deliberately channeling that energy within you, and I didn't understand it and I didn't know how to do it, so I just did the best I could.
Wow.
Sorry, Jules.
No, I think what you're pointing to is that there's so many different energies or qualities of energy. You've said so much that's in a handful. One is that your genius of seeing the opportunity of writing a book is profound. Like that idea came to you. That's genius. And you followed it. You didn't smash it away with the tennis mat ball or tennis racket and say, no, that's stupid. And look what's grown. And that idea has impacted me. Now, because of that one idea, we're here together. Like how life is taking on, life of its own. Like it's still growing. And I find that to be a miracle. Like people don't see the miracle of life happening. That class gave that idea, which gave birth to the first book, which gave birth to the second book. And now we're sitting here talking.
Yeah.
That to me is a miracle.
Yeah, I agree. And when people ask you, like people ask me, how did you start your business, or how do you become an author, or how do you do a YouTube channel, like how do you do these things? How do you start these things? You sort of, the received wisdom is that there's a way. There's a book out there that you can if you just follow these steps, then you'll do this thing. But I've seen more and more that you just follow the ideas that come to you and see where they go. And actually that can turn into a book or a business or a YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever. It's following that idea and seeing, where does that take me? What does that look like? Instead of, as you say, letting insecurity getting in the way. Or not that I don't have insecurity, and I'm sure you do. Absolutely. I can remember the first time I submitted a piece of work to a journal. I'd been writing for a while. I submitted this piece of work. I got it all ready. It was a competition or something like that. And in the moment before submission, I was sat in bed, and as I was about to press it, it was like the room was filled with every voice that had something to say bad against me. Like my mother was there, my father was there, like my uncle was there. They were all there. I was small. I thought, who am I? Who am I to think that? How dare I even think of submitting a piece of work to somewhere? What a cheek. I was literally drenched with fear and anxiety. And I know enough to just press the button anyway. So I was like, quick, and put the cover over my head. And of course, as soon as I pressed the button, most of that went away, and I could recognize it for what it was, just a load of fear and insecurity and ego and everything else. But I see where that can stop us, and that can sound so real and so frightening that we don't want to go there. So I'm glad that I do press the button.
I'm thrilled that you pressed the button. One of the things that I found out about you, because I didn't, again, I don't know you, and I just did a couple of minutes of research, and I saw your YouTube channel on running, and my heart filled with so much love for you, because I don't know if you see the correlation, and this is what I'm curious about, between your running journey and your writing journey, and how they're the same or different.
I think that what I see about that is I'm always open to what else, what next, what's occurring. The running, I'm not athletic, I'm not the right shape, all of those things, embarrassed, big, so many things I could say about myself. And I got inspired in July 2020 by somebody else who'd done a 5K run, and I thought, what, I could do that. And I said to a couple of other people, do you want to do Couch to 5K, which is this app which helps you, trains you, from the couch to running 5K? And they said yes. And before I knew it, there was a WhatsApp group, and we all started on the 1st of August 2020, and and once I started running, I mean, it was so hard. I couldn't believe how hard it was. But once I started, I saw the same. So I can remember running down the hill. And what Couch to 5K does is it teaches you how to keep running a little bit further and a little bit further. And I was running down the hill, and it was hard. And I just kept thinking, you're so resilient. You've been through so many things. You've done so many things. You can do this. It's just another thing. And it's not supposed to be easy. Like, if it was easy, everyone would do it. It's not supposed to be easy. So stop imagining that you want it to be easy.
Holy schmoly. You just said the most brilliant thing I think my mind just went shattered. I think we think things are supposed to be easy, and they're not.
Yeah.
That's the illusion. Like, writing is supposed to be easy. No. It's challenging.
Yeah.
Publishing
a book's not easy.
No. It takes something. It takes energy.
Yeah.
And uncomfortableness.
We give up because it's not as easy as we think it should be. And then all we have to do is stay with that uneasiness and uncomfortableness.
What you just said, I hope whoever listens to this hears this, because it's what stops people is that thought. But if they understood it's not easy, so what?
Yeah.
Big deal. I mean, I'm sure writing wasn't easy in the beginning.
Exactly.
And have you just gotten used to it being, difficult at times?
Absolutely. I'm not currently in class. I do a lot of class because I like to keep going back to being a student again, and not just getting comfortable with how I am now. And I'm not in class because obviously we're publishing stories from the Muses. I'm helping in the background with the publishing side of that, as well as being a contributing author. I'm obviously still working on my own book, and I run a business and etc. So I haven't got the space for class, but I will go back to class. And I already know those first few weeks, those first couple of weeks, those first few days when I sit and write with nothing on my mind I'm back to this again. Oh no, what about if nothing comes? I'm back to the unknown and the challenge of ignoring the insecurity and allowing the space for something to come through that is beyond my intellect and my insecure thinking.
But what I'm hearing you that you have, and I'm going to use this word, is mastered, is letting things being difficult. and not having anything on it.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe not mastered, but practiced.
Well, it's looking like to me on this side of the you have nothing on it. I mean, you do, but you don't pay attention to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all those voices, everything comes in, all the noise and challenges come in there, but you just keep marching on, whether it's right, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Talk about freedom and to be able to create what you want or to try something new. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, the reason why is because it's because that I see that there is infinite potential, and that goes along with. So many years ago, I was married to an abusive husband, and he was mentally abusive more than anything, and you know, he's with my positivity, he used to say, well, you can't be a brain surgeon, you know, because I used to say people can be anything we can't be a brain surgeon, and I kept thinking, well, yeah, that's true, I couldn't be a brain surgeon, that's true. And I've remembered that all of these years, you know, 20 years on. And where I got to with that is, actually, if I wanted to be a brain surgeon, I probably could. I'd have to go and get qualified and do stuff and practice and work late nights, and there'd be things to do to enable that. But if I really wanted to do that, the opportunity and the potential is available to me, whether that would be hard or costly or anything else. So I see that there's that dance between infinite potential and getting on and doing it.
Yeah, and the thing that I see that I've never seen that you seem to do so well is you just expect it. It's okay that it's difficult.
Yeah.
And that's where I really see the difference. Like I saw that in your, well, I just saw it through now, but that's why you can run at this age. That's why you can write a book. That's why you can publish a book. That's why you can go work in prisons, create your own companies.
Yeah.
Like that's the keys to the kingdom, it seems.
Yeah.
I mean, if more people understood that, I mean, that's mind-blowing to me.
I love the way you've put that. I haven't really thought about it like that. And I love the way you've put that. It's so what? The challenge, so what? The difficulty, so what?
Yeah, it's just like you have to pee, so what?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And I just see the thought of it. The thinking that should be easy is like, that thought is the greatest lie in the world.
Yeah.
But that's why you've done what you've done, is what it looks like to me. And you keep doing more. And it seems to me that you have a good time doing it.
Yeah.
You enjoy the heck out of it. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The running channel came about because in our little group, in our little virtual WhatsApp group, because it was COVID time here and nobody could meet, I encouraged everyone to do a video at the end of their run, and we had about 6 or 7 people in there, and I encouraged them to do a video, tell us how you're feeling, share the ups and the downs, etc. You know, and they did. Most of them did, and I did, obviously. And I was reviewing all of that. By Christmas, I'd done Couch to 5K and I'd done a 10K run and so on. And I was reviewing this footage and I thought, oh, that's right. And I put a couple of pieces on Instagram just for fun. And at that point, I'd worked in prisons for 5 years. I've worked with hundreds of people. I've seen hundreds of transformations. I put a running video of me with a sweaty face and sticky hair and you know, being totally like, oh my gosh, look what I've just done. I had more response to that video than anything I've ever put out. So I put another one out and I had saying people were inspired, like that. Don't be inspired about the prison work, be inspired by me that I can run at 58. And I thought, okay, there's something in this. This is helping people. People wrote to me and said, I'm going to start running, or you've just encouraged me, or I've just finished this because I watched your video. So I thought, well, this helps people. And why don't I start a YouTube channel then? So I researched how you did that. And I started the YouTube channel. And for a good 18 months, me and my son posted weekly. My son got involved. He started editing for me. He was running with me, so he started posting. It just grew on its own. And we loved it. Like, we loved running together. Our relationship grew stronger. We loved creating the videos together. I loved learning about the channel. And in a way, I was giving a message to people that anything is possible without saying it, just by showing them. You know, show, don't tell. But what's interesting is this year we've stopped doing the channel, and the energy just ran out. And we've talked about it, and I've said, let's not force it. Like, if it's done, it's done. Let's just see what comes next. It may revive itself, it may not, but something else will come in its place. So there's also a sensitivity to allowing things to run their course and then knowing to walk away.
You listen to life. It's like you and life are dancing together, and you know when life is done. You're a beautiful dance partner to life. And that's, I think, one of the things that writing does to you is you get really good at listening to genius. And you saw it in all those people. And then genius came through, you say, and it's still growing, so it's still happening, but you're listening. And that's remarkable. It's inspiring to see it. Because so many people don't listen. All right, JB, we are coming to the end. I can't believe this, and I'm so sad. I have loved this conversation. And if people want to find you and be blessed by who you are, one is they can buy the book.
They can buy the book, Stories from the Muses. We have a launch party on the 14th of May, and the book's now available for pre-order on Amazon UK and Amazon.com. All the proceeds, all the profits from that book go back into the press to support people who have a story but couldn't afford to get published. So that's important to mention that. And how do they find me? Well, if you Google Jacqueline Hollows, you can find me. So I'm quite easy to find, and I'm on.
Well, this will all be up on the blog. It'll all be in the bio, etc. But I can't thank you enough. I really magical. So
it's been beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.